where I am. God is where I stand. God is standing strong where I breathe. God is breathing life in and out and through me. As me, where I sing. God is where I dance. Joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me. As me, where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer. Here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak, truth is. Where I work, love is my career. Where I play, God is playing boldly, in and out and through me. As me, do-do-do. Oh, hey, hey. Whether I am, where I stand, where I play, where I work and breathe and move and be, where I see, where I dance, my dance, wherever I go, where I pray and take and give and live. God is, life is, joy is, God is. Thank you. Thank you. You know, God is alive and well and looking beautiful through all of you and all of you out there in your homes. I'm so happy I can be here during your anniversary month, and I want you to know that I see you. I see you. All these years that I've been coming home, right, singing for you with Reverend Sky, all the way through Reverend Denise, everything in between and where we are right now. I moved back home 4 years ago, and I've seen you that whole time. And now, thanks to Catherine Burton, I'm so lucky I get to be at your Wednesday evening Faith Lifts, supporting with music. And I want you to know that I have seen the relentless way that you as a community have not only said we're going to continue on, but we're going to be better than we've ever been, and we're going to thrive. And I've seen your commitment with such passion, such vision, right? Taking all the classes in training, Q process. I hear about shadow cards and quantum point living. I don't know if I'm getting that all right. But so I want you to know that, yes, we are excited to welcome in the new minister. We are. And please, 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 especially during your anniversary month, I don't want you to miss the richness that is already here. Okay? The minister that is coming is going to be amazing, but they are going to be the icing to your cake. They're going to be the cherry on top of your heartfully crafted sundae that you've been working on all these years. And yes, you're going to bake new cake. We want an up-leveled experience, right, with this new minister. And you got to remember that at the base of the recipe is and has always been you. So from my heart to yours, I want to wish you a happy anniversary. And if you haven't done it yet, can I just hear a woohoo, a yeah, like this is you. Okay, and everybody out in social media land, thumbs up and hearts, really, like, if you haven't toasted each other yet about the fact that you are here and you are what makes this place great, you need to do that. Do that for faith, okay? Make me a promise that you're going to party. Okay. And one more request. Share with someone near you, and it's okay if you have to yell at them since we're spaced out. Just share something you love about Unity of Hawaii. Okay, and I'm going to invite everyone that's watching now in the live stream. Share something you love about this space, about this place. Okay. Okay. So doesn't that feel good? So you might be asking, why? Okay, Faith, we've seen you sing, but why are you here speaking to us? Well, your sweet Rev Margie came to one of our Wednesday Faith Lift services, and I guess in my sharing, I said, Seeding a Pandemic of Love, and she said, Faith, that's a great title. Will you speak on it, right? My head was like, what? But my heart, when I stopped, my heart was like, this is mine to do. So that's why I'm here today. And I'm going to, thank you. So I'm going to start last year, March 2020. Something happened, right? Kai, my son, was home from school, Punahou, and he was on spring break, and then he never went back. Otherwise known as the COVID pandemic, Yeah. Or, my son's there. Or I want to offer another phrase maybe that we can start thinking about is, what about a sacred reset? That was offered to me by my friend, Reverend Skip Jennings. He's a co-host on our radio show, Voices of Unity, on the Unity Network. And he said, what if this is all a big sacred reset, right? Where the canvas was cleared. Wasn't it cleared? Of all our business, all our distractions. We were forced to stay at home, forced to be present, to be up close and personal with ourselves and maybe those in our house. And so it's exciting in some ways, terrifying in other ways. And so, yes, during this time, we'll explore ways to grow and plant a different kind of pandemic. But mostly, I want you to see that this is what you've been up to all along, truly, with the way you've shown up time and time again with all your classes, that this is what Unity of Hawaii has been up to, seeding a pandemic of love. So where do we start? I like to say intention first, baby, right? That's where everything starts. So at the beginning of this pandemic, I found this amazing quote, and I'm going to ask Joy if she'll put it up here for us, by Jamila White. She's a poet. And it says, as you can read here, we are billions of caterpillars forced into our cocoons, being called on to change from the inside out, to metamorphosize, to rest and reflect and sprout wings. So this is the poem that I found that was my intention from the beginning. An intention has the power to color, to shape, to influence and inform your very experience, right? It influences what you draw in, what you allow in, and how you respond. So at the same time, I had this quote, the pandemic was just, starting to unfold. It was also the release of my 11th album called Rise. And in all honesty, it was born from this sadness, this anger. Yeah, I had anger and blame, this feeling of losing myself a little when I moved to Hawaii 4 years ago. I love my family and that we're raising my kids with our ohana. But there was a part of me, I lived in LA for over 20 years and I gave up that life of touring and all that. So this album, though, was my way to work through it, to see what was next for me, to see how I could sprout wings, like that quote said, sprout wings from Hawaii. So between Jamila White's quote and my Rise album, it set the tone for my experience for this sacred reset. And in all honesty, with no disrespect to anyone that has experienced loss and challenges during this pandemic, this has been some of the best times in my life. My daughter Izzy was unable to start kindergarten, so instead she signed up for Mommy's kooky kindergarten. And we had such quality time. You know, one special moment, we climbed up the rocky hillside in Hawaii Kai where Grandma lives, where we live. And she made me climb up and we sat on a rock and she said, "Mommy, look, this is my favorite spot." You know, she snuggled her arm in mine. She said, "Mommy, do you love this?" And we're overlooking Cocoa Head, the bay, the ocean sneaking between the mountains. And my little daughter was chatting with me, you know, about what is my favorites. And these are precious moments I would have never had without this pandemic. I also made new best friends. They are the ones that are my co-hosts now on our radio show. Every week we show up. It's Rev Skip Jennings and Rev Jackie Fernandez. We show up every week to talk honestly about what it means to walk this walk. And like I said, one of my, again, Skip Jennings made this up, COVID bonus is what he called it, is being with you every Wednesday. Again, thank you, Catherine, be with all these prayerful prayer warriors, you know. And also, with the help of friends and fans like Cindy Hensley here, we put on epic virtual events last year. We put on the Aloha Fest, Luau of Love. When all the election craziness was going on, we put a Love Wins party on for 2 days. I had a 2-day CD release party for Rise, and at every event we had guests. We would dance, we would drum, we would doodle, we would sing along, we would meditate, we would hula, we would do all these things, all to plant intentions of what we wanted this time to be about. So yes, intentions are that powerful. And it carried my family through our own personal experience of COVID just this past August. I was right about to go on a radio show. My husband calls me and he said he tested positive for COVID. We had friends visited from LA and they had tested positive as well, and now my husband was positive. Well, I'm on air, right, fresh from the news, and I said, there are 2 roads here now that I can choose from. Am I going to pick the road that is paved by the news, by the fear, by the statistics, by death that was happening? Or am I going to do what Myrtle Fillmore, our co-founder of this unity movement, did? She followed this road of well-being, this road of spiritual truth. So, you know, I followed Myrtle. And I want to share with you now what happened next, but I'm going to read my Facebook post because it really shares in the moment what happened. We tested negative on Wednesday, but on Thursday night, Kai, my son, started feeling a little warm. As I took his temperature, he started to cry. He was scared seeing us all get sick, plus everything he's heard about COVID. I told him a part of me was scared too, and yet another part of me that knows we are connected to something way bigger, more powerful. And in that moment, I decided, in my head and my heart, to only talk about what we wanted to put our focus on, not the fear, not safety against something, but instead leaning into our innate wellness and trusting and supporting our intelligent bodies, trusting the angels, the cosmos to do their job. It took deliberate intention and a lot of effort to continue this, even when I was laid out on the outdoor porch while my kids played around me, right? As I allowed wellness in with a sore head cold, or that night when Kai had his fevers and nightmares and woke up every 30 minutes. By the way, I was sleeping in the hallway, right on the floor, so I could hear all the sick people and see who needed me. Mommies, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. And in those spare moments when I wasn't caring for someone, I had to actively chase out those fearful thoughts and statistics and just breathe and continue to allow wellness in. So today, as I drove to the doctors to get tested again, I played Abraham Hicks for the kids. It's a body of spiritual teachings. And I said, no matter what the tests say today, at the center of every cell is God, the power that creates universes. No matter what, there's health and wholeness available to us. No matter what, we always get to choose what this experience will be like. We just need to know these results so we can help protect others and also support our bodies. Above all, we are okay. So yes, we tested positive for COVID, this thing we've been reading about, dreading about, hearing about, changing our lives about for an entire year. And with my family, we're actively deflating the fear factor so we can enjoy this extended summer together. We're doing everything we can to help our bodies be as healthy as they can be, including happy movies, balloon volleyball tournaments, the low energy kind, LOL, no news diet, prayer, gratitude circle, vitamins, lots of liquids, releasing blame, more like mommy's work, and the guaranteed cure, fading into love and snuggles. So that's me in real time, shaping and molding an intention for our family. And the point is, through intention, we made the experience our own. This crisis, it's so funny when I look back. When you're in a crisis, in a strange way, things become so simple. When all I was wanting was to be healthy, to choose well-being, or what we're talking about today, seeding a pandemic of love, it becomes so simple when you're in a crisis, because all you're thinking is this what I'm feeling, what I'm about to say, what I'm about to do, these thoughts in my head, are they supporting my well-being? Are they in the direction of love, or are they not? So yes, intentions are incredibly powerful. So as the pandemic continued, do you guys remember? Not only was there a pandemic around our health, but then the racism, George Floyd, all of that happened, and it was all bubbling up. And in my heart of hearts, I really thought that this was our shining moment for new thought and unity. And what I mean by that is I thought we were going to dig in and live our principles like full out, And so I looked for messages online and, emails, looking for our leaders to give these messages that were as bold and passionate on oneness and possibility as was the hatred and the division that we saw out there. And I know what you're talking, I know that you know what I'm talking about. That messages that were equal to that. And I couldn't find it. I saw judgment, I saw blame, I saw fear. And I don't blame them, right? Because there is no them. They're you and me. They're working through it. And what I realized was I was waiting. I was waiting for somebody else. So maybe it has to be me. Maybe it has to be you. Maybe that's why I'm the one standing here today to say that this pandemic of love has to be planted and seeded by you and by me. So yes, we have intention. We show up, we suit up when we answer that call. So I have to really share with you about Valerie Carr. She was our keynote speaker at Unity's Eastern Region Conference, where I got to be the music minister. And she is a writer, a filmmaker, and an activist and a mom. Oh yeah, great. Yeah, that's her, a little bit of her, the picture of her book called See No Stranger. Well, I'm going to tell you about Uncle Balbir Singh Sodhi, okay? He immigrated here in the 80s with his brothers and his family. They were escaping the anti-Sikh violence and riots happening in Punjab, India, in their home. And they settled in Mesa, Arizona, where they opened up their family gas station. All right. So everyone said he was such a loving and generous man, right? Always smiling to all the community. And in fact, they said they knew he was sneaking like candy and toys to the neighborhood kids. Well, just like us, when 9/11 happened, he fell to his knees. He was broken by the senseless violence, by the loss of life. And he told his brothers, we have to do something. And in fact, I heard that they had to stop him because he was ready to board a plane and, go help them in New York. And instead he said, okay, let's hold a press conference. Because you see, they wore the white turbans on their head. They looked like dark men. They looked like what the terrorists look like. And they said, we want to stand here and say, we are with you, America. We are with America. We are grieving with you. We are here for love. So it was scheduled for September 15th in the afternoon. Well, Uncle Balbir never made it. Because that morning of September 15th, he went out to the garden area. He was just starting at the gas station. And he was literally seeding love, right? He was planting flowers to beautify this community garden here that he was creating. And he was shot 5 times. He was killed on the spot. And he became the first American victim of a hate crime in the aftermath of 9/11. So as you can imagine, this sparked something in young Valerie Carr. That she says this is why she became an activist, she became a lawyer, and even his brother Rana said his whole life's course changed. It is now dedicated to peace and reconciliation, and he'll speak anywhere, that he's invited, also to educate people on what it means to be Sikh, that terrorism is not a religion. And for 20 years now, they have met every year on the spot that he was killed. They gather the community, they grieve together, they stand in love, they invite leaders like Barack Obama has been there. And they stand in the intention of Uncle Barbier, of this world of love and peace. It was incredibly moving to hear Valerie say that, all my life, she said, I've been fighting against something, in her activism and as a lawyer. And now, through her own work, through weeding her own garden, right, doing that work, they have been able to move into forgiveness. And she says now she wants to be for something. And that's why she wrote this book. That's why she started this revolutionary love project that you can look up on her website. And she asks, this anger, this hatred and disregard that we see in the other, right, can we equal it with our love? Her uncle, Rana, the brother of Uncle Barbier, both he and Valerie, 5 years ago, were able to speak with Frank Roque, who murdered their loved one. He was in prison. And I'll tell you, the love and compassion they shared with him was transcendent. Frank told them that he was blown away by their kindness that they had shown his daughters and his family when they invited them to join them at their annual gathering to come for dinner. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm just remembering them now. And, of course, they were crying the whole time. And they offered this man their unconditional forgiveness. And you know what's amazing? What Frank said, right? The man who had murdered Barbier, he said, when I meet my creator, I'm going to ask to see Barbier. And I'm going to hug him. And I'm going to say, I'm sorry. And I'm going to tell him I love him. I mean, that is the work. That is the work right there. To not only show up and suit up, but to be brave enough, courageous enough to dig in our own garden, to get to those weeds, to smooth and heal those edges, to look at those gaps of love, right? In our field of love, those gaps. And as this family has shown, Valerie and her uncle and their whole family, as they've shown that no matter how dark and the word is not horrible, but as dark and intense something may be and horrific, that you are the potential for that love to creep in, right? To be a leaf of kindness, to be a love bud, to be a flower of love, and to do what my friend Reverend Keith said, which I'll ask for this quote here, which is, to be the person who breaks the cycle. If you were judged, choose to understand. If you were rejected, choose acceptance. If you were shamed, choose compassion. Be the person you needed when you were hurt, not the person who hurt you. Vow to be better than what broke you. To heal and act from your love, not your pain. So this pandemic, this sacred reset, this is the perfect time. This is the time to do this, to let go of that old stuff, to let go and to do the work to transcend it. And it's funny when I practice this over and over, there are so many spots here where I would be drawn to tears because I get it. This is the work, and I want you to know this is what I've seen you doing as a community. So yes, we've planted our seed, our intention of love. We've suited up, we're showing up, we're doing the work, we're weeding our garden. We are making peace with our own inner landscape. And from these roots of love, right, that we keep making stronger by showing up and weeding, we can tune into our own inspired action. We have Mother Teresa who said that love cannot remain by itself. It has no meaning. Love has to be put into action, and that action is service. And it's service right here to others, to your community, that forms another one of those, what I call it, a flower bud of love, right? And truly, I am looking at a room full of flower buds, not only a room full, a community of flower buds. I want to highlight a few of you here. We have Joanne Lewis with her prayerful poems. We have Cindy Hensley and Catherine Burton hosting their weekly Faith Lift. We have Catherine Kane, who prays so generously and powerfully for others. We have Beverly, and I don't know your last name, Beverly, but when I used to come to church in person, she would just show up with such joy. She creates art. She creates earrings. We have Zamar, their heart of service and the music that has continued. And Alethea, who came out of retirement time and again, right, to serve. And, Yeah, but you're going to want to clap for everybody here because I want to lift up your leadership, the staff, the reverends, the volunteers, the board. Y'all know that's no easy job. They get to dance with others more, right? Others and their opinions and sometimes their complaints and their praises. And lastly, my little flower buds that have opened up your wallets, that have given from your wallets, whether it's empty or full, given of your own time and said, yes, I stand with Unity of Hawaii. I want to be a space, a place for love and peace. So yes, that pandemic's happening out there. It is. But the reset is alive and it's happening here. And I see the flowers. I see the flowers blooming here. Now, you might be listening to me and saying, Faith, I don't have any skills. I don't know how I'm going to serve. Well, I'm going to tell you about Guy. We were at the Humanities Team Retreat hosted by Neil Donald Walsh. It was the first time I had met an open-hearted community like yours. It's what led me to Unity and all of New Thought. So we're sitting there sharing, how can you serve? And, I was so excited. This was at the start of my career. I didn't even know there was a career doing what I do, in fact. And I told guys that, oh my God, I'm going to sing. I'm going to write songs, that are spiritually inspiring. I'm going to perform. And, I went on. And then I said, what about you, Guy? And Guy goes, well, Faith, I'm not musical at all. I'm not even creative. I'm not a good cook. Gardening, forget it. I'm not a good carpenter. He went down this list and his head's going down, down, down. I was like, Guy, come back. Well, his eyes finally came up. He looked at me with all sincerity in his heart. And he said, Faith, I can love. And so Martin Luther has this he has this dead-on quote right here where he says, everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to have your subject and verb to agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. So yes, we don't have to be smart and you don't have to be a saint. Okay, we can serve as we are from our unbrokenness. We can serve from our unforgiveness. And here, let me be really honest with you. While I was writing this, grumpy mommy surfaced. My kids can say, yeah. It surprised me. And it was hilarious in my brain. I'm like, I'm trying to write this seeding a pandemic of love. So look, grumpy mommy can even serve. So you can serve as you are. And here's the key. Here's what all volunteers and leaders know that have shown up like the board. They know that it is in the service that you are healed and made whole, and more than whole, you sprout those wings that Jamila White talked about at the beginning. So I have just a few more things to say. Mary Manon Morrissey, who was at the Humanities Team conference, she said, you are once in a universe creation. And I like to add the word superstar. You are once in a universe superstar. All that makes you, your talents, your traits, your skills, your vibe, your energy. I know you've heard this and it sounds so cheesy, but it's so true. Nobody else can do you. Nobody else can bring whatever your special thing is to bring. So this work of love, this seeding a pandemic of love to transcend really what is a pandemic of fear, it is your work to do. It is my work to do. It is a greater call of Unity of Hawaii and beyond. Everyone watching, this is our call. Because at the heart of it, I know we know that love is who we are. And there's only so long that we can deny our impulse to love. It's only so long that we can deny just who we are, which is to love. So this is our moment. And the world is not only calling you, or not only waiting for you, right? This world is calling you by name. And what is your name? It is love. Yeah, it is love. It is love. Thank you.